The series is tied in our first best of 3 today. To the top left, we currently have our Protoss player. He's a GSL player, either Code S or Code A. He's starting in the red, and his opponent, starting to the bottom right of Ohana, is a Caspar Zerg.
Yeah, Caspar Zerg showing some unique strategies. We saw Ultralisk first and then Mutalisk. You know, these strategies are kind of older. They've been better figured out, I would say, a lot of the time. But the Mutalisk strategy has been popping up again on Daybreak. We've seen it a few times where players just try to hold that massive amount of spine crawlers. But sometimes the Protoss just breaks through. With the way that you can blink your Stalkers, oftentimes the spine crawlers can never actually finish them off. You have to have Fungals. But when there's that many Stalkers, I mean, you can't really get your Fungals consistently well enough to actually kill them a lot of the time.
We have seen this Mutalisk style actually by a GSL player during the WCS, and wasn't it FXO?
It may have been Sirius who did that. It may have also been
No, it was Galaxy. Sorry, it was Galaxy.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, MVP Galaxy. That's right.
Yeah, and he made a few mistakes, and that's why he lost a game that he practically had won already. But yeah, that was actually the game exactly. And I'm not quite sure who his opponent was. It might have been Jungbi.
I want to say yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Jungbi, and Jungbi played well and made sure that he won the game in the end. But actually, that was one of the maps that Galaxy could have won. But yeah, as you said, this just shows that this style is getting a little bit more popular right now because people just try to mix it up a little bit and show different styles and maybe surprise their opponent with a timing that they don't expect. And if you can blindside your opponent, that is always a good thing. That can just win you the match right there.
Yeah. It's always good to be tricky. You have different builds up your sleeve for situations like this. Now the question again on this map is, when does the Zerg take gases? We are going to see a full wall off from our GSL Protoss. Not a single gap there for the probe to get through, so he has to make sure to keep that probe alive. As our observer is highlighting, you know, everybody knows, even GSL observer, that if that probe dies, he's not going to have any scouting information, not going to be able to make any pylons.
The early third is coming for our Caspar Zerg once more to the top left now. The GSL Protoss currently with his first gateway finishing. It's going to take quite a while and taking double gas already in his main base. For him, once again, the question arises, do I attack on 2 bases? Do I try to take my third, or what am I going to do? A lot of pushes here on this map are pretty strong. Blink Stalker is one of the all-in that you can play. You can also go for the Immortal push.
I wanted to point out that the Zerg player did check very carefully with that Zergling to see if there was any cannoning going on in this third base. That's the worst nightmare for a Zerg, when the hatchery finishes and then you get vision of the cannon that's about to finish after you can't cancel. So the probe will come and scout this though. This is really important. The probe has basically done what it needed to do. He may decide to go and hide a pylon. Well, now he can't because the Zerglings are chasing him.
The Overlord spotted the probe earlier, and therefore he was just able to send a few of his links over and intercept it.
Once the Protoss does a full wall off like this, it's pretty plain to see that they're going to try to take a fast third, because there's not a lot of pressure they can put out with the probe, with their gateways. Yeah, you can actually fight these with the Zealot here, but you may lose the probe.
Yes.
No, loses the probe, so he can't make any gateways. He's going to be able to destroy the rocks that lead to the third base and defend from that location instead, which makes it a lot easier to take a third on this map. This is a map a lot of Protoss like for this reason. They feel comfortable with the full wall, take the third later, get 4 gases, tech while they take that third.
And let's see what our Zerg player is going to do now. He has a lot of options. We've seen so many different styles on this map. In the late game, Broodlords are they are something that people really like quite a lot. So we might also just see a Ling and a Mutalisk Baneling style. This is something that especially TSL Zergs have been playing, usually against Terran, but sometimes also against Protoss.
Yeah. A lot of Protosses recently have been going for these big 3-base attacks with a bunch of Stalkers, good upgrades. We saw 3/3 upgrades last game, but in the first game we saw him go for big attack off of 3 bases with a lot of Stalkers. Zealots kind of mixed into the composition as well. This is something that's really cool, because that Broodlord composition that you were just mentioning is something that a lot of Protoss players struggle with without the Mothership. And the Mothership does feel a little bit difficult to use at times, depending on how the map is played out.
Yeah,
how many spines there
Creator
are.
had a lot of problems with this mothership against Curious. Curious played it very cautious though. I think I've never seen a Zerg player playing this defensive.
Well, that was actually an inspiring play by Curious.
Yeah. I mean, he had all the time in the world and he didn't take any risks at all. Creator, on the other hand, really struggled with his Vortex, so that was a huge problem. And well, currently we have the choice for our GSL player. He is already on his way with the Twilight Council and the Robotics, adding the additional gates. +1 attack upgrade is now on its way. And well, the Zerg player with the Lair and the Roach Run. The normal timings for the Roach Run, maybe a little bit later than most Zerg players would build it, but he'll be fine here. Even playing safe with the 2 Spore Crawlers being built. And of course now, as mentioned, our GSL player is using the tech structures that he just built. He's going for Blink, will get the Observer as well, and the +1 attack upgrade, +2 attack upgrade follows suit after the first one has been finished. So it looks like we are going to see a good old Bleenstalker attack.
Yeah, it's starting to seem that way. I mean, it's possible he just takes a third with this, but the way that this is timed out, I mean, killing these rocks doesn't mean anything too substantial. Look at the Nexus here. Now he still has the minerals to add gateways. If he does this right now in his main base and then cancels the Nexus, the attack is still possible. But I think this is, with the way he opened up, it looks like the Nexus is going to be the choice. With the timing of the Blink here, it's more of a defensive one, because otherwise he'd be lining up +2 with this a little bit more. We'll see though, still entirely possible. As soon as he makes cannons at that Nexus, that means it's a permanent Nexus.
Our Zerg is going for the drop play, and well, we've seen a lot of TSL Zergs, especially Hyun, who failed a little bit against Genius with the strategy because he forgot the drop upgrade, to go for a maxed out Roach army and then just try to drop the base of his opponent. Might be something similar coming up in this game. Currently, both of them at, well, not roughly the same supply, but 120 against 95, that is still okay-ish.
Yeah, that means they're both, you know, not making any real critical mistakes with pylons or anything like this.
And the main question is going to be, is he going to drone it? Because right now our Zerg is not building any drones at all, but with the macro hatch that he has, and even the fourth that he takes, he will have a lot of lava, and he's investing every single one of them now in Zerglings and Roaches.
Yeah, I think he's going to do that drop that you mentioned. I'll see how he executes this. The Observer is very wary right now. He's following this army around, trying to figure out exactly what the next step is going to be. He's going to notice that these units max up in one location. There's no way for the castle player to kill that Observer right now. So he's gonna watch this, and as soon as the Overlords come and join, he's gonna be concerned. He's gonna be like, all right, well, I guess I need to defend this drop right now. Baiting out some force fields here.
Well done, by the way, not getting anything trapped here, but attacking here would be a mistake. He baits once again a few force fields, did not lose too many units. The main question is going to be, does he see the Overlords? And so far he doesn't, because
he doesn't see them.
They fly on the left side of the map. So if he just runs over with his units, he might be able to just drop. And he also baited the Protoss player to the right side of the map.
Oh well, if he actually... This was a close call. If the Protoss tried to chase, then he just lifted up and got away, that would be terrible for the Protoss units. They'd have to walk so far around. Now the Observer's following. He doesn't see the Overlords, I don't think, though. He's heading over now. He's about to get a glimpse.
Yeah,
he's got to have figured it out by now.
He knows,
yeah, he's going in the main.
There are already the Overlords in the main base. And there he drops them. Now this could actually be quite harmful for the Zerg player if the Protoss cleans this up.
Yeah.
He needs to save his Nexus. That's the most important part right now. And there he's losing a lot of units. He doesn't really trade cost efficiently here because he still has a lot of units at the third. That's where he's attacking right now as we speak. The main base though, I don't think the Nexus will fall.
Nah, he didn't target it. And so he's not gonna lose that. And 3 Immortals on the right side. We're doing a ton of damage to the Roaches, but now he's got them a little bit isolated. The Zerglings are targeting them down.
The Zerglings surround them and the Immortals are gone, and this is bad against the Roaches, but the supply is about to even out here. And +3 attack upgrade for the Protoss nearly done. The Harvester count now, of course, a little bit diminished, 70 against 55. But this was actually a pretty good trade for the Protoss.
Yeah, I think it's time to start making some Spine Crawlers. With 3 Immortals out on the map, this many Stalkers, and +3 about to finish, he actually is not going to be able to hold it without it. And he's starting an Infestation Pit, but those Infestors are going to be what he needs, but he needs time as well. He can't just make an Infestation Pit and hope to hold a counterattack. And the Protoss player are actually waiting a little bit before moving out. A little bit disappointing, I think. I think you should realize that with how much you know, how much he killed and how little damage he sustained, he could actually hit a timing here.
That was really well played by the Protoss, not sending all of his forces into the main base. He realized that even though there were a lot of overlords, that his third base would still be attacked. He had the overseers or the observer still there, so he defended his third really well, especially because he left the Immortals and then moved into his main base, defended, took both armies down, and that was really horrible for the Zerg. He lost a lot of resources, whereas the Protoss player only a few. And now even the Dark Shrine coming up. So this is really tricky, but still 3 against 4 bases, so the Zerg, given time, will be able to get back into this.
Yeah, the Protoss, if he's going to take a Dark Shrine to make 4 more gateways, he needs a 4th, and it looks like that's what he's gearing up to set up over here, moving his units over. All of his units, I think, to check for as Burrowed Zergling, but might have been too much to actually check for that. Adding a few cannons actually around the map as well, I guess, for potential Baneling drops, which is something we may see as Baneling Nest is done, Baneling Speed is done, and of course the drop play. It's not just going to disappear.
It would be cool to see him just send an Overlord or two in the main base and just make sure that the Protoss player is forced to leave some units over there. And here comes the Baneling drop.
He's waiting a little bit. 4 Banelings in this Overlord.
I think another one to the left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope, no Roaches, just Banelings. And he doesn't have any... I mean, 1 cannon is not going to be enough for this. He's going to have to pull all his probes, and if he doesn't react immediately, he will lose so many of them.
He's trying to move in at the left side of the map.
I think there's too much defense for the left side. There's a group of 5 Stalkers as well as 1 cannon there. I don't think he's going to be able to do the damage he wants.
The Zergling trying to do a little bit of a diversion here, but no, the blink in was ready. And yeah, those DTs are at least killing the hatch.
Yeah, the DTs on the left side of the map coming in here. There's no Spore in place. He's going right for that hatchery, and +3 on these DTs. The hatch doesn't stand a chance.
No, none at all. The the Overseer is now being morphed, but yeah, the DTs have been killed, and now he's trying to move away. 1 fungal being used, take them down. The Queen might die too. And here comes now the Protoss player once again with this composition that we've seen on Daybreak.
On the right side, will he react? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't look like it. The Banelings are going to do a lot of damage here. Wow. 1, 2, and boom.
Yeah.
That killed roughly, with a 1 in the main base, was that successful too? He killed 24 in total. No, in the main base, not really. But this army, this is the big problem. The army supply is 130 against 113 in favor of the Protoss. You can see it on the tabs just now. And here we go.
Yep, Guardian Shield goes up with some good Forest Shields blocking out those infestors, and he's going to need the fungals to use those Baneling drops as well as he wants to. Here we go again, and great Blink Stalker micros so far. Zealot's still tanking damage at the front.
He's blinking away, and now the Immortals are exposed at the same time. The Banelings are being dropped around the army, but so far the Protoss is fighting a nice fight here. Warps in additional units, and yeah, the DTs are still in the game, and they still do damage.
Yeah, the DT's doing a ton of extra damage here with no Overseer nearby and no fungals on them. They're actually going right for the infestors, and this is a big problem. He's starting to lose those.
The infestors are on the run. They can't do anything at all. As soon as they turn around, they will be killed, and so is the rest of the army. There are still Immortals left. GG. As the GSL Protoss claims victory.
Yep. Just playing the better, more solid game here. And I think we're going to have our team of the Protoss revealed right away. Yep. I'm really curious to see what team it is. It's going to basically lead us into... I mean, it's the first big clue for trying to figure out who this player may be.
I'm actually a little bit sad that the Zerg didn't win.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious myself.
I like the style, but in the end, some of the things that he did were a little bit...
Yeah, exactly. This is a little bit more refinement. With a little bit more refinement, this guy actually has a lot of potential, I think. And
that was definitely not bad. That was pretty well up. I think we have the...
Well, not the team yet. Just our results page here. I got a little bit too excited. I thought so too.
I like the ideas that he had.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that he tried to drop in the main base at the same time attack the third. I liked that quite a lot. And also how safe he played. That was actually pretty cool. The execution, some of the points were maybe a little bit
shaky.
But I like the ideas. I mean, even when he, for example, he really droned up to 120 to 130 because he knew, okay, at this point in time, on Daybreak, I'm not going to be attacked. I have too much economy, but I will build a lot of spine crawlers. I really liked his thought process here. You could see that he was really mapping this out.
Yeah, he's definitely got some really well-practiced strategies. We're going to reveal the team now of our Protoss. I just want it to like appear. And I'm like, he's on team reveal. Whoa, what is that? Prime. Oh man, some people were tweeting at me saying they think that it is Creator, and well,
I don't think it's Creator.
I don't think so either, but it's entirely possible now that the Prime team has been revealed.
It's definitely a choice, but I don't know. Apparently, Creator was using some similar strategies with Blink just on his stream lately, but I'm...
A lot of people are using this strategy right now.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure. I actually, I don't think it's Creator. I might be wrong.
I think that it could be Creator, but I just don't think the evidence is conclusive right now. You need to see the final game before I can really decide. I want to see...
You are a wuss.
You know what I want? You know what I want? I want the Kespa Terran to win. Then I want to see Creator's PBT. Then I'll know. If it's Creator, I want to see this Protoss' PBT against the Kespa Terran that plays in the next round. Then I'll be able to figure it out. Be able to solve it.
All right.
Well,
I think... Huh?
Well, I was just... That's it. I want to hear your thoughts as well.
I'm just thinking about the games that I've seen Creator play, and Creator had some... The thing that strikes me is that Creator... or whoever the Protoss player is, didn't have like any openings that were like, I don't know. I've seen so many crazy strategies out of Creator that I would have expected him to use at least one in a best of 3 like this.
Yeah, his weird forge placement on Daybreak was not what I would call a crazy strategy. It was just a little bit different.
I mean, I've seen Creator do these transitions that we've seen right now against Linux, for example, as well, where he just transitioned into the Dark Templars later on. But still, I'm not quite convinced if this is really Creator, because if you think about the matches that we've seen him play against Curious, he played, I think, a lot different. It could be him, of course, as it's a Prime team member, but I don't think it's him.
The other thing to consider is, someone actually just tweeted at me right now, and I was thinking is, what other pros do we have? We really only have Classic or Creator that I can think of. There may be some B-teamer pros out there that we don't know. But this, again, kind of leans towards Creator. What other Protoss on Prime could it really be? Classic is someone we've only seen lose in qualifiers, basically. He doesn't come out in Team League.
The only thing why I'm not quite sure if it's Creator is he didn't really impress me that much, especially on the first map. When I last seen games of Creator against Linux, for example, he blew me away. I was looking at those games and I was like, wow. And this was okay, but for example, the blinks that he had on the first map, that was not really good.
It was not as good as I would expect from Creator as well, yeah. Yeah,
he misjudged the situations and usually well, I don't know. Maybe it is Creator, but the player that I've seen from him online, I get that he's nervous in the booth when he plays here, that this is quite a contributing factor, but the last few games where he played online, where I saw him play from home, he was just like dominant, like really dominant. And these games were good, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit too much of a Creator fanboy.
Okay, we are just going to go ahead and start.
Okay, that's fine.
Our next match, of course, Zerg versus Terran. This time the GSL player being the Zerg.
Yeah.
The Kespa player being the Terran. Let's jump in right now to Entombed Valley, the StarCraft 2 Ready Action Cross Match.